On the open seas, power decides everything. Ranks, orders, loyalty. But there are moments when the ocean itself chooses whom to obey. This is the story of a woman the Navy tried to erase. A woman the Admiral ordered off his carrier without warning, only to watch in shock when a classified nuclear submarine emerged from the depths, disobeying a direct command just to stand with her. Welcome to United War, where every story uncovers the truth they tried to bury. Pinpoint. Start of story. The USS Valor, one of the most powerful aircraft carriers on Earth, cut through the steel-gray waves of the Pacific. A floating city of 5,000 personnel. Jets screaming across the deck every hour. The raw heartbeat of American naval might. Among the officers walking across the towering deck was a woman in a simple Navy uniform. No ribbons, no rank pins, nothing to show who she really was. Her name? Lieutenant Commander Aurora Hale. At least that's what her ID said. To everyone else, she seemed like an administrative officer recently assigned to logistics. Someone unimportant, someone easy to ignore. Except the people who recognized her face. Whispers followed behind her like shadows. She's the one from that mission. No, she was supposed to be dead. What is she doing here? Rumors traveled faster than jets. But Aurora never looked back. At the far end of the flight deck stood Admiral Wallace Victor, a steel-jawed commander with eyes that judged worlds. He had spent 35 years rising to the top. No weakness, no questions, no surprises. Until she arrived. His stern gaze locked onto Aurora like a missile targeting its mark. Silence wrapped around him as he marched forward. Even the deck crew pretended not to watch. Aurora saluted, calm and sharp. Lieutenant Commander Hale, reporting as ordered. The Admiral didn't return the salute. His voice cut like a blade. "You are not welcome on my carrier." The deck went still. Jets powered down. Conversations died mid-sentence. Aurora remained expressionless. "Sir, I was assigned here under the authority of—" "I don't care who assigned you. You are to leave the USS Valor immediately." His officers looked stunned. No one dared speak. But Aurora's eyes didn't blink. "With respect, Admiral," she replied, "I have already been cleared by the highest command." The Admiral stepped forward, lowering his voice. "Your past brings danger, and we don't need ghosts haunting this fleet." Ghost. That word. It followed her everywhere. 3 years ago, a covert operation known only as Operation Abyss vanished from all logs. Every soldier listed on that mission was declared dead. Every soldier, except her. Some say she saved thousands. Some say she caused the tragedy. The truth was locked away deeper than the ocean itself. Aurora didn't defend herself. Instead, she stared straight ahead and said, "Is that an order, sir?" "Yes," he hissed. "You are banished from this carrier." Banished, like she was some kind of threat. She nodded slowly. "As you command." Minutes later, a small helicopter prepared to take her back to mainland command. Sailors gathered around, whispering. Some stared with fear, some with curiosity. Only one man dared approach her. Chief Petty Officer Daniels, a wiry mechanic with grease on his hands and loyalty in his eyes. Quietly, he asked, "Ma'am, did you really do it? The stories?" Aurora gave a tired smile. "If they were true," she whispered, "I wouldn't be here." The rotors spun faster. The wind whipped across the deck. The Admiral watched, satisfied, thinking he had removed a problem. He didn't know the ocean was about to answer back. Just as Aurora stepped toward the helicopter, the water beside the carrier began to churn. Sailors pointed overboard. "What's happening? Is that a dolphin pod?" "No, look, look!" Beneath the waves, a shadow the size of a skyscraper moved upward. Sirens blared.
The ocean erupted as a massive nuclear submarine broke the surface with violent force. Water thundered across the deck. Crew staggered. Even the admiral stumbled back in shock. Spray cleared, revealing the unmistakable form of a classified Black Ops submarine, the USS Leviathan. A submarine not deployed in years. A submarine whose existence was denied. A submarine whose crew was rumored to be ghosted, like her. And it had surfaced without approval, directly under Aurora's feet. The admiral's face drained of blood, because only one person in the entire Navy still had the authority to command that submarine, Aurora Hale. She turned to face him. No rank pins, no medals, no need. Her voice was calm. "Admiral, it seems the ocean disagrees with your order."
Silence fell over the deck of the USS Valor as sailors stared at the impossible sight before them. A nuclear submarine, a Black Ops legend, had just risen from the deep like a sea monster awakened by command. And it wasn't answering to the admiral. With a hiss of pressure release, the submarine's hatch opened. Men in jet-black uniforms, special forces insignias invisible to ordinary ranks, stepped onto the sub's hull. They didn't look at the admiral. They didn't look at the officers. Their eyes only followed Aurora Hale. Then, they saluted. Not just any salute. A silent war salute, one that only existed in a Black Ops unit wiped from Navy history. The entire flight deck froze. The admiral, red with confusion and fear, shouted, "What is the meaning of this? Who authorized that sub to surface?" The Leviathan's captain stepped forward, a storm of authority in his eyes. "We received orders," he replied firmly. Her orders. Every sailor looked at Aurora, the woman they had doubted, the woman they had mocked. Her expression didn't change. Hidden rank revealed. The admiral clenched his fists. "A lieutenant commander does not command a nuclear submarine." The captain replied, "With respect, sir. She outranks every man on this deck." He reached into a sealed black case and opened it. Inside lay a silver insignia none of them had ever seen, an elite rank used only in covert operations under direct presidential command, a rank above admirals, a rank given only to the leaders of classified task forces. The Leviathan captain announced the words that flipped the entire Navy's hierarchy upside down. Presenting, Commander of the Deep Operations Unit, Omega Classification, Admiral Aurora Hale. Gasps cut through the air. Aurora Hale wasn't a simple officer. She wasn't even just high-ranking. She was the highest authority in the entire Pacific Fleet's Black Operations Command. The admiral stumbled back as if struck. Color drained from his face. He had banished the wrong person. A reputation built on fear. Stories about her weren't rumors anymore. The mission that killed her? It didn't kill her. She led the only survivors out of the abyss. Her elite team, once believed dead, was actually stationed on the Leviathan. The admiral tried to regain his voice. You disappeared. Your file." Aurora finally met his eyes. "My file was sealed by the president himself." Her tone could have frozen fire. "I didn't disappear. You just weren't cleared to know I was alive." The admiral's jaw trembled, anger mixed with humiliation. The moment of choice. The helicopter pilot stepped out, unsure. "Ma'am, do you still need transport?" Aurora looked at the Leviathan. Her team waited. The ocean waited. She faced the carrier's crew, the ones who doubted her. "Looks like I'll be staying in my command." The crew stiffened as she walked toward the Leviathan gangway. Chief Daniels, the mechanic who had spoken kindly earlier, called out, "Ma'am, who are you really?" She paused. "Someone who's done terrible things, so others could sleep safely." Then she stepped aboard her submarine. The deck crew watched, awe growing like a tidal wave.
A dark threat emerges. Just when the tension couldn't grow sharper, a sonar alarm blared from the Leviathan. Multiple unidentified contacts approaching fast. The Pacific waters around them churned again. But this time, not in welcome. Enemy vessels, silent killers, closed in from beneath. The Leviathan sonar officer yelled, "It's the Abyss Reavers, the same fleet from the mission 3 years ago." Aurora's eyes narrowed. They found us. The Admiral looked shaken. "You brought them here!" Aurora turned slowly, a silent warning in her voice. "I have been tracking them for months. They would have come eventually." Her voice dropped. "And if we don't act now, this entire carrier is going to the bottom." The Admiral swallowed hard, the weight of reality crushing his pride. For the first time, he needed her. Aurora stepped to the submarine intercom and commanded, "All hands! Battle stations!" Her voice echoed like thunder across metal walls. She looked back at the Admiral one last time. "You wanted me gone. Now, you'll want me leading."
Aurora moved down the Leviathan's command ladder with the confidence of someone who understood the ocean better than anyone alive. The submarine sealed shut behind her, locking out hesitation and ego. Inside the control room, red lights replaced the sunlight of the carrier deck. "Contacts bearing 097, the sonar chief reported. "Depth unknown. They're using thermal layers to hide." Aurora didn't hesitate. "Deploy Ghost Boys, passive tracking only. Let them think we're blind." The crew obeyed instantly, loyal to a commander resurrected from myth. Above them, the carrier remained vulnerable, a floating bullseye. A deadly game of silence. Minutes stretched like hours. Every creak of metal vibrated with dread. The Admiral, listening through an open comm channel, finally asked, "How many enemy subs?" Aurora spoke without emotion. 3 confirmed, possibly 5. The Admiral's breath hitched. 5 Predator subs versus 1 U.S. carrier? And only the Leviathan to defend it? He muttered, "That's a slaughter." Aurora corrected him. "Only if we hesitate." Her tone was iron. FIRST-STRIKE. A loud ping echoed through sonar. One of the enemy subs had locked on. "They've locked on!" shouted a crewman. Aurora slammed her hand down. "Brace!" A torpedo streaked through the dark toward the carrier, unstoppable. The Admiral yelled over comms, "Do something!" Aurora's voice cut through. "Launch countermeasures now!" The Leviathan fired a decoy array, metal pods ejecting rapidly. Explosions rippled underwater. Silence. Then cheers. "Confirmed! Torpedo deflected!" But Aurora didn't celebrate. That was a warning shot. They're testing us. She turned toward the Admiral's live feed on screen. "If they fire for real next time, you won't have a ship left." The Admiral's hands trembled against the rail. For the first time, he asked, "What do you need from us?" "HUMBLING. Aurora stared at him, not cruelly, just truthfully. "Stay out of the way." The Admiral swallowed the last of his pride and nodded. The sailors on the carrier watched the exchange with awe. The woman he had disrespected was now the one holding every life afloat. "WOLVES. The sonar chief whispered, "They're circling us, ma'am, like wolves."
Aurora approached the tactical table, a swirling hologram of the ocean around them. She marked enemy paths with movements precise as a surgeon. They're planning a multi-vector kill box. The XO asked quietly, "What's our move?" Aurora smiled, a smile filled with deadly promise. "We don't wait to die. We strike first." Her strategy was unlike anything the Navy taught. Her crew knew that and trusted her anyway. "We go silent. We dive deep," she ordered. "To the trench?" her XO asked, shocked. Aurora nodded. "That's where they think we won't follow." The Leviathan descending into the black void where sunlight and hope disappeared. Hull plates moaned under pressure. Still, Aurora pressed deeper. She had once survived the impossible down here, when the world assumed she perished. This time, she wasn't running. She was hunting. The secret only she knew. As the submarine leveled out, the sonar image changed. She zoomed in, revealing a hidden abyss beneath the enemy formation. The crew gasped. "It's not just a mission," she finally revealed. "The Abyss Reavers aren't attacking the carrier. They're after me." The room fell silent. Because if Aurora Hale was the target, then the enemy wasn't a threat to the Navy. It was a threat to the world. One only she understood. A debt written in blood. Her voice dropped. "They're the ones who killed my old team, and they think they've finished the job." The sonar chief interrupted. "Ma'am, enemy vessels adjusting course. They know we're here." Aurora's eyes hardened. "Good." She stepped forward, every word a silent declaration of vengeance. "Because now we finish what was started." The Leviathan crew prepared, hearts pounding in sync with the ocean's pulse. They weren't just in a battle. They were in a war that had been buried and was now resurfacing like a nightmare. In the dim red glow of the control room, Aurora gave the order. "Arm all torpedoes." Metal hissed. Lights flickered. The abyss waited. Aurora stared forward. The Predator staring into the dark. "On my mark," she whispered. The North Atlantic seemed unusually calm for a moment. Too calm. The carrier strike group cut through the ocean like a steel city in motion. Jets roared overhead. Crews worked with precision. But beneath all the chaos and command, a darker game was unfolding. Admiral Hawkins stood on the bridge of the USS Liberty, his face red with anger. He barked into the radio. "That submarine has no authorization to be here. I gave direct orders." But the ocean did not respond to his authority. The massive shadow beneath the waves, the USS Silent Phantom, continued its rise. Every sailor on deck felt it, a pressure, a disturbance, a silent giant awakening. The water erupted. Steel broke the surface, rising like a deadly sea creature. The submarine towered over the support vessels nearby. Sailors froze in disbelief. A voice echoed from the carrier's loudspeaker. "Unknown submarine, identify yourself." But then, before anyone could react, the hatch opened. A figure stepped out. Her. Commander Elise Ward. The same woman Hawkins had banished only hours before, now reappearing as if the ocean itself had delivered her back to judgment. Her uniform perfectly pressed again, her medals restored to her chest, her expression calm, even respectful. The crew whispered like they were seeing a ghost. "I thought she was removed. Didn't the Admiral order her confined? How is she commanding a submarine?" Because the truth was now rising with that submarine. Elise Ward wasn't just any officer. She was the classified commander of the Silent Phantom, a vessel so advanced, so secret, no public file acknowledged its existence. A submarine whose missions never made the news. A crew sworn to silence. A weapon designed for one purpose: to end wars before they start. Admiral Hawkins stormed down to the hangar bay, where Elise now stood waiting, surrounded by the elite submarine crew who treated her like a queen returning to her throne. His rage boiled over. "You are removed from duty. That vessel is under my command." Elise didn't flinch. She stepped forward, quietly, professionally, and handed him a sealed document stamped with a black insignia, the kind that overruled entire chains of command. Hawkins froze, his eyes widening as he read. By Presidential Directive, Commander Elise Ward maintains autonomous operational control of USS Silent Phantom. The Admiral stuttered, a man who believed power was always on his side, now discovering its limits. "Elise, sir, you were never briefed. For your protection." The strike group crew looked on, some with smirks they attempted to hide. The powerful Admiral, the voice of absolute authority, humbled in public. Admiral, defeated but trying to hold dignity, asked, "Why surface now?" Elise replied, "Because there's a threat moving toward us from under Russian waters, and we're the only ones who can stop it." A submarine war, silent, unseen, had already begun, and Hawkins had removed the one person capable of leading them to survival. Moments later, the silent alarm sounded. Enemy missile submarines detected. The ocean shifted from calm to hostile. Jets scrambled, destroyers repositioned. But deep beneath the surface, the real confrontation waited. Elise turned toward her sub. Her crew saluted in perfect unison. She spoke only one command: dive. Phantom protocol. No traces. No survivors. The hatch sealed behind her. The Silent Phantom sank into the deep, disappearing like it had never existed. And every sailor aboard the carrier realized banishing her wasn't a punishment. It was a mistake, one that could cost them the ocean. The Admiral watched the waves settle, the guilt of nearly ending them all weighing heavily, because he now understood the truth. Elise Ward wasn't here to defy him. She was here to save them, even from themselves.